Okay. Welcome everybody back to another week 11. We're close. We're very close. Um, let's see. First thing I want to do. Ethan, are you trying to talk, buddy? I think you're muted.
I was talking to somebody else. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool. Just want to make sure. All right, let's see here. Let's start with. We'll go with the weather challenge today. Tricky forecast for today if you're not careful. Um, it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on right now because obviously you have no models. NWS isn't really working. But I mean, many people were pretty consensus with the high as being between 28 and 33. Uh, but the low is what's going to get people. The low is going to dip tonight. I think the 22Z had 12 for USL, and then the 12Z had 13 or 14. Um, and so that's going to be tricky. And then for the winds are going to actually increase. I think after our period, either after our period or just to our north there, they're going to really increase. Let me go down here to see what everyone did. So obviously for us, missing somebody here. We've got all these people here. So the majority of us, we went lower. And as far as the highs go, pretty good mix there. And then we can see how we're doing as a team real fast. Pretty much same results. Actually, this city we're doing a lot better compared to previous cities. A lot of people above national consensus, which is what we want to see. So yeah, we've got half the team above national consensus, which is wonderful. Really, really good. And then we can look down and see how bad the models are doing. Just straight garbage. But I will say, I don't know. I kind of want to know what algorithms the University of North Carolina Asheville have, because their models are performing amazingly well compared to the national models. I mean, you've got 6 models in the top 100, which is really good. I mean, that's the way it should be. But yeah, their models are just doing amazing. I don't know what they've got in them. I don't know what their algorithms are, but it's apparently working really well compared to, like I said, the national models. Let's see. Next thing we can look at here. I do want to announce the shirts are ordered. They are on order. She said they should be ready by the 16th or 17th, is what she's thinking. And then I'll pick them up. I'll take them to the school. Probably hang out in the outer office area of Dr. Finch, and you can pick them up from there. And if you haven't paid yet, you can pay then too. Most people have paid. But yeah, so that 16th or 17th, so 2 weeks away, is what she's thinking. So we should have them before Thanksgiving break. Next thing we can talk about is weather. And so what we can say here, I want to talk about a few things really. We'll get to the hurricane, but what I want to discuss here is this little wave coming in early next week and whatnot. Typically in the springtime, this would be wonderful. If we were out there chasing in the plains area, we see some very nice shear going on here at the 500, and we go up to 850. It should overlap a little bit Sunday into Monday in that same area, which it does, which is wonderful. But the issue becomes, will there be any moisture return from the Gulf? And as we can see here, does not appear so, as we've got these northerly winds. So there doesn't look like there'll be much moisture, so there won't be much thermodynamics going on. As far as storm development goes, there could still be storms, but they won't be crazy storms because of that. Even if we go forward into Monday, still the same thing going on because of this tropical system, ETA, or I don't know, Ada. I think it's Ada. I don't know how to pronounce Greek words too well. But with that being down here somewhere, it's going to affect the moisture transport up north. And the Storm Prediction Center also is saying that as well. However, marginal thermodynamic environment. And then once again, Monday, basically they said Florida, but it depends whether or not you're going to get the moisture return on that one. And so with that being said, Ethan, do you want to talk about the hurricane, or you want me to talk about the hurricane?
I don't really have anything to add. I haven't looked at it much. I think it's going to go into I was just looking at it. They just downgraded it to tropical depression, basically remnants right now. They've got it coming up Saturday just south of Cuba, but it's going to cross over Cuba. Well, the Hurricane Center's got it strengthening as it crosses Cuba. I don't buy that at all. Cuba's so mountainous, it's going to rip this thing apart. And there's going to be a trough of low pressure that's going to be crossing the Gulf. And they mentioned that it's possibly going to turn into a subtropical storm. So while it may make landfall in southern Florida, I don't see it being anything more than a tropical storm or what they call a subtropical storm, which I don't agree with them naming subtropical storms. But, that's another argument for another time. I think if they had deleted all the subtropical storms that they named this season that weren't truly tropical, we wouldn't be in the Greek alphabet. I think we would probably still be closer to like V or W, but that's not my call to make. So
that's interesting, though. I never really.
There was a few of them back in like April and May, and then I think a couple in like July that they were subtropical, and there was some argument on Twitter about whether they should actually be named or not. This was like the first year they started doing it. So it just bodes the argument of like, well, if you're going to name a subtropical storm, then where does it stop? Are you naming extra tropical storms? Or where do we stop? Where do we draw the line? What we're naming. It's like then it starts bringing into question of, well, Weather Channel's naming winter storms. Maybe we should start naming those too. You know what I'm saying? It's like and they kind of did that this year without saying anything. They started doing it, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not disagreeing with them. Obviously they're the experts. They have way more experience than way more experience. But I don't know. As you can see in that lower right hand corner there, when you're on your computer screen, most of the models don't have it getting anything above a tropical storm. But we'll see. 2020 has been crazy so far. If it can avoid Cuba somehow, it could. There's an area southwest of Florida in the Gulf area there that's pretty warm, 28, 29 Celsius. It could strengthen back up to a hurricane. It's not out of the question, but I do agree with their analysis in the discussion of it possibly becoming hybrid or subtropical. So, it would be. I think that'd be the 12th. If we get a landfall, it'd be the 12th landfall this season. And if it happens to be a hurricane, which is unlikely, it would be the 7th hurricane, which would, I think at 6 we've tied the record. 7 would break it. So yeah, I think 6. The record was 6 in 2000, or no, it was 1985, and then like 1930 something. 2005 we only had 5 landfalls, or hurricane landfalls. They were all majors. And then in I don't remember what 1985 was. I know there was a year in 1936 that we had like 6 or 7. So we'll see, I guess. But I'm thinking a couple of these systems. The last one that just made landfall, I've lost track of all the names. I think it was Zeta. Zeta, and then Sally. I'm thinking in post analysis they may upgrade those to major hurricanes because there was some compelling recon data before they made landfall that. Couple observations. They were all flagged SFMR data, but I don't know. I feel like based on the storm surge and the wind data that they got from the aircraft, that they could possibly be upgraded post analysis. Which I don't know if besides for Hurricane Michael, I don't know too many storms that have actually ever been like post like post analysis upgraded, you know. So it would be interesting to see if that happens. But so seems like they're kind of been stingy with the Cat 5 rating this year, though, because I thought Laura, you know, August would have been a Cat 5, and then I thought Ada was going to be a 5 too, and they were both right on the cusp. I think 155. I think Ada got to 155, and Laura was 150. So, but there was one model run with Ada a couple days ago, right before it was approaching Nicaragua. I think it was my friend Daniel posted it. It was the Dvorak method, and they had it. They weren't doing any recon missions at the time. It was well before landfall. It was at max intensity. They used the Dvorak method, and I don't know what goes into it. It's like a bunch of mathematical equations and stuff. And they had the estimated intensity at 890 millibars with wind speed sustained at 190 knots, which is 220 miles per hour. That would have made it the strongest hurricane ever recorded. But they ended up sending a recon out and only found, I think, 150 mile per hour winds and a 921 millibar pressure. But the eye was only 6 miles wide, so it brought into question as to they have to drop the drop zone so perfectly in the middle of it to get that central pressure that with such a small eye, the pressure gradient is like really, really tight. So you could go from 921 at one location to a mile over being 899, and then a mile over that being 890, if that makes sense. Like we did when we were in Synoptic, we did the pressure gradient things with Dr. Bucharest to the cross. Kind of like that, just being like really extreme pressure gradient with a small eye. So it makes it difficult for them to get the drop zone in the exact like right location. So especially when you're dealing with something that's only 5 or 6 miles wide and you're in an airplane that's, 40 or 50,000 foot in the air and you're using a GPS to try to drop it's kind of like going deer hunting and trying to hit a deer in the eye from a quarter mile away. Not very easy unless you're a Marine or something.
You can pinpoint it.
That's the best analogy I can give, honestly. I mean, I didn't see it being that intense, but I definitely thought it was a little more intense than what they gave than the credit they gave it. But again, I'm no expert, so. And this is you got the Dvorak method of the Dvorak technique. I guess they use statistics, I guess.
I never even heard of it until you said something.
Yeah, I had heard of it. They used it a lot in 2005, and then they use it a lot in the Pacific and like areas that they can't get to, or like that are just way like storms that are just way far out to sea that aren't affecting anything. They have to like estimate it based on satellite, and they use this method. Especially with like something that's like way out and it's not going to affect any land. It's not worth the money for them to send an aircraft out there unless it's like a research mission where they're actually like researching. They did a couple of those earlier this year on storms. They did research missions. I think it was on Paulette and Teddy. I think they did research missions. They were fish storms. They didn't affect anybody, but they did research missions on those where they just test certain instruments. And so I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but I do think after mid-November though, the hurricane season is going to start shutting down because, of course, the end of hurricane season is typically November 30th. But I seen online. I was watching Levi Cowan's videos, which he's the guy that owns this website, the Tropical Tidbits, and he was talking about the MJO, the Madrian-Julian oscillation, I think it is. And then we're in a kind of a moderately strong La Nina right now, which favors these warm temperatures in the Gulf and the Caribbean. So, and his thinking was that things are going to start waning off toward later November into December. But it wouldn't be out of the question to see named storms well into December, especially with an active season like this. And a couple people on Twitter that I follow that are one of them is that I can't think of his name, Philip something. I posted it on Facebook a few days ago, but he's from Colorado State, and then Josh Morgerman, he's the ice cyclone guy. He was also thinking, possibility of some hurricanes in December as well. So Who knows? It's 2020. Anything's possible.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Now,
So
what I found interesting when I saw it today was, out of all these areas, the only areas that haven't had some sort of tropical warnings was from like the southern panhandle all the way down through like Tampa.
yeah,
Um,
Florida's not been affected at all this year. It's crazy. Florida and I don't think. Let me pull up my map here. I don't think Mississippi's had a landfall either. I think they've been affected, but the landfalls have either all been in Louisiana or Alabama. They've not. Mississippi and Florida have both avoided landfall. I think Florida's got a couple tropical storm landfalls, but I don't think there's been any hurricane landfalls there. So it's kind of unusual since they're usually they see the most hurricanes out of anybody. Louisiana's been hit like I think like five hurricanes this year. It's crazy.
yeah, they've been hit a decent amount. That's
And
for sure.
it's been all within like 50 miles of the same area too.
Yeah.
So it's that coastline's just got to be absolutely devastated.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, I think with Laura, they said I haven't seen the final numbers, which probably won't come out until like April. But I think they the geological survey found I think it was I want to say a 19.7 foot storm surge, almost 20 foot. So not a record. I think the record's like 29 foot with Katrina, but definitely very, very high. And then with this last one, they found a 9.7 foot storm surge, which is still very high. So
Yeah, that's
believe it or not, I think the actual world record is actually 40 foot for storm surge. It was over in
yeah.
like,
I just typed it in. The world record's 13 meters.
yeah, so that's like 39 foot or something.
Yeah.
38, 37. But I think it was in like Taiwan or like the Philippines or something. So it's a super
Let's see.
typhoon.
Yeah, occurring during the landfall of tropical cyclone. Well, here, I just shared this. Mahana in northeast Australia.
Oh, March, man. 914. That's probably got to be a Cat 5.
That was in 1899. I mean, it's from AMS, but I don't know.
Yeah, 13 meters. Let's see. Meters to feet. That's a 42 foot storm surge.
That's a decent
That's
amount.
like, so if you're at sea level, that's 42 feet of water. You got to be 5 stories up to survive that. You'd be at like a 4-story building, like you'd be in a 4-story building like Tillman Hall, and that would be like Tillman Hall being completely submerged in water. I can't even imagine that.
It'd be pretty bad.
Like you could go to the roof in Tillman Hall and you still wouldn't be safe.
Yeah, that's a little
insane.
scary.
That's scary to think about. 42 foot of water, man. But yeah, Katrina, I think, was like 28 point something. The record was like, it was in Waveland, Mississippi. So it was in like, and I didn't realize I had researched it because we're doing a project for GIS right now with hurricanes, and I had researched it, and I didn't realize how close the eye wall to actually New Orleans was actually in the eye wall. I'd always thought that it actually stayed a little far to the east, but the eye wall actually went over New Orleans. So I think a lot of their flooding was from the because Lake Pontchartrain is Lake Pontchartrain's north of New Orleans, so they were in that western eye wall and they had strong northerlies. So that's probably what broke the levees, is it pushing all that water back on, back over the levee, and they had winds at the airport over 110 mile an hour, so it's certainly enough to break the levees.
And what's weird in there is like, have you ever been in New Orleans?
Yeah, my uncle used to live down there. He was stationed in the Navy, so I was actually I haven't been there since, but I was in New Orleans in 2004, the year before Katrina. So I haven't been there ever like post Katrina, but yeah, it's like they've got a bridge that goes across Lake Pontchartrain, and then it's almost like the Florida Keys.
All those houses are like below the lake.
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean,
if you've been up to like LeClaire, up like the cities, a lot of the houses up there along the river by like Port Byron and a couple of the Buffalo, Iowa, look very similar to what they look like down there in Louisiana because there's so much flooding. A lot of them are built up on stilts and raised up, to avoid the surge. But then you get the houses that are raised up 10 or 15 feet, and then they're more exposed to the wind. So,
Yeah.
but it's kind of, but a lot of those houses down there, especially in like Florida, are rated for Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricanes. So, but I know when we went down for Irma, I don't know, it was 3 or 4 years ago. They told us the hotel building we were in was newly built, and it was rated for winds up to like 160 mile an hour sustained or something crazy. So it's a pretty impressive construction. She said it was like 160, and they could take gusts up to 200. So could theoretically survive an EF4 tornado. So it almost makes you wonder why you don't see construction like that in like Oklahoma City. You think they would be building like that to, I mean, if, Miami, Florida can have a construction to sustain 160, 200 mile an hour winds. I mean, I don't see why Oklahoma City couldn't, or Wichita, cities that are prone to violent tornadoes couldn't do that, but probably really cost prohibitive though.
Oh, has to be, yeah. Has to be.
So,
let's see. There's two more things I want to talk about today. One is I'm going to go back to this page. If you haven't voted yet, vote for this in the city poll. I think it's open until tomorrow. Closes at 5 p.m. tomorrow. You can vote for any of these cities. They typically want you to vote for ones that have active weather. And I wish it would show the last time. Last time, actually, LA received a lot of votes.
who would vote for LA?
That's what I was thinking. I voted for Des Moines last time. I was like, give me Des Moines.
LA's got such bad. It's like I don't. I call it bad weather because it's just boring weather.
Mhm.
My uncle used to live out there, and I stayed out there for like 3 or 4 weeks a few years ago, and like the weather never changes. It's the same every single day. It's like 80 degrees and sunny every day. Like I could make a forecast and I could just leave it for all 7 days, and I'd probably be right.
Yeah, there's not much variation there at all.
It doesn't rain in the summertime. It's sunshine and 80 degrees every day, and cloudy and cool in the mornings and foggy. So
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, I don't know what everyone's thing with LA was, but last time before Alaska, like a day or two before or a day or two after this ended, we could have voted for Jackson, Mississippi, or Mobile, Alabama. Can you imagine if we would have had that for the last tropical system that moved through? That would have been a lot of fun.
Mobile, yeah, especially they had a couple systems go through it. Winds would have been hard to. That'd have been a nightmare to forecast for Mobile.
Yeah, that would have. Yeah,
Especially, I think that was where Sally made landfall just west of there, or actually right over that area. So that would have been a kind of an interesting forecast.
I mean, there have been somebody's been putting winds in. Let me see if I can pull it up real fast. I forgot what city. Was it Grand Rapids? Maybe like day 5. Either Grand Rapids or I don't remember if it was Grand Rapids or Glen Falls. I think it was Glen Falls. If I can't find it after this one, I give up. I thought it was day 5. Oh, well, okay, that one. So it is Glen Falls. One of these, somebody put a forecast in of 95 knots.
110 miles an hour.
Yeah, I was like, okay, good for that person. I don't remember if it was Glen Falls or if it was the other one. Oh, yep, here it is. There it is.
Have fun with all those arrow points.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, the wind that day was like, 13 knots. Somebody put in 95.
How many arrow points is that?
So if it would have got up to 13 knots, it's a half a point error for every knot up.
That's
so if it's 13,
that's 41 error points.
Yeah, just from putting a 95. I don't know who did that, but
that's
if you sifted through all this, you could find it, but I don't.
almost makes me wonder if they meant like 9 knots and they fat fingered it or something, or 5 knots.
Yeah, they almost had to, but I don't know why because the system should have caught it and told them not to do that. So
Yeah, that seems
I
like
don't
they would
know.
give them a message or something saying that has to be like an error, or somebody would have emailed them or something like because I don't know.
Yeah,
But
you would think. Okay, so let's go to the last thing I want to talk about today. Need to stop presenting this and then present my entire screen. So the last thing I want to talk about is election. So that is coming up. I just pulled up the Constitution so that way we can kind of look at it. Um, and so basically, for an election, what we got to do, well, I guess before we start with the election, every single position is open. We will vote for every position. President. Let's see. There's president, vice president, treasurer, secretary.
are you gonna still be doing Severe Weather Club since next semester as well? Because I mean
I'll still.
I'm not gonna be enrolled, but I'm planning on still trying to do it.
Yeah.
Are we
I'll still
allowed
be
to
doing
hold?
it,
Are we allowed to
but I
hold
won't be.
positions or no?
What's that?
Are we allowed to hold positions if we're not enrolled in the university or
If
no?
you're not enrolled in the university, I do not think so. Let me see here. I don't remember. It says somewhere.
I wonder if
Uh,
like I'm just wondering with like the outreach though, since I'm technically on the outreach, if they would still let me do like, which I don't know with COVID and everything, I don't foresee it going
yeah.
away spring, but uh, if they would still let me do presentations and stuff, I don't see why Dr. Finch would have a problem with that.
No, she wouldn't. But as far as you actually being declared the outreach, I don't know if we can actually technically call you the outreach because of this sentence here. Um, but yeah, no, that would not be an issue whatsoever. I mean, we could pretty much give you the title, but not officially, I guess.
And then my
Um,
problem is like we're kind of running out of members here. We don't have.
yeah,
I don't know. I haven't seen Mac at all this semester, and then um, Nathan, does he still go to school here? Or
yeah, he does. Yeah,
he does? Okay.
he's in and out of meetings occasionally.
Meetings, and then I haven't seen Anna either.
She comes every now and then.
She comes every now and then. I've missed a couple meetings, so that's why. And then Katie, I don't know what happened to her. She just kind of fell off. She
Yeah, I
doesn't
haven't.
she doesn't get on Facebook or Twitter anymore. So I I don't even
I
know.
haven't
I
seen
don't even
her.
know if she still goes to school here.
I don't know. I haven't seen her since last year, so I'm not sure if
So,
she does or not.
but
So yeah, so then every position will be available next week. I will not be president next year, so or next semester. So that's open. I mean, it doesn't matter if somebody has a position right now; you can run for it. It doesn't matter if like Mac, he's vice president. Somebody can run for that. It doesn't matter. Nathan's treasurer. Somebody can run for that. Everything's open. Is pretty much what I'm saying.
now I got a question. It's not related to their other club, but
Okay.
so if I don't enroll next semester,
Mhm.
uh, and then I graduate, and then I want to come back in like the fall and do graduate, do I have to reapply to the university or do I just apply for classes since I
You have to apply for grad school. So
because the way
let me
Dr.
show
French
you.
explained it to me, she told me the way I if I was taking doing it the way I'm doing it this semester, she told me that I wouldn't have to apply or anything. She said that they
I,
would actually pay me or something like that.
so what
I,
you would want to do is you'd still want to apply.
because Jennifer tried telling me that if I graduate, I can't do graduate school. I would have to take all my undergrad or all my gen eds again, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, that's not true.
And Dr. Finch said that's not true either. So
Yeah, that's not true. Don't listen to that. That's not true. Um,
I'm not
but
trying to
what
put
you
anybody under the bus, but I'm just
yeah, what you would need to do is you would need to apply for grad school. And so, I mean, it's the same, it's pretty much the same process as undergrad. Like, I think if I click this, I kind of,
I mean, I
you,
don't see a problem getting in. I mean, it's with I think any of us could probably get in. I mean, it's
Oh yeah,
Especially
it's
pretty
yeah,
easy.
yeah. It's not too bad at all. Um, so yeah, see here, you're a new student if you are currently enrolled.
I see
Um,
down here it says if you're a returning student, if you have previously applied, or if you've or if you've completed a graduate, or yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you so like for me, whenever I did this, I applied to this. I did
How long
new
did it take
graduate
you?
student.
How long did
Hmm?
it take you to get your decision?
Not that long. It was probably like 2 weeks, maybe 1 week.
That's not bad.
They get back to you pretty fast. And then basically, it's $30 to apply. You begin the
I
application
thought they were
process.
doing the applications for free now because of
I
COVID.
think they are. I think you're correct. They are for free. I think that this is just saying this because over here it says apply now for free. So I would assume it's for free, and then you click that begin the online thing, and then if your first time going on to this, you click here to register for a username and password. Maybe not. I don't remember if this is your. I think this might be your ecom. I could be wrong on that one. I'm not 100% sure, but I can log in and I can show you what I don't think any important information's
That
on here.
looks that looks that looks like your ecom.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it probably is. And so basically what you need to do is you over here it says graduation application and then like there'll be a status you can click on it and you go through everything and then they'll tell you what you need to do and then you don't need letter of recommendations unless unless you want to apply for assistantship. An assistantship is where
That's
they
what
will pay
Dr. Smith
you.
was talking to me about, an assistant. Now, would Dr.
Yeah,
Bucher still be able to give me a letter of recommendation since he doesn't work here anymore?
I think so. Yes, I think as long as let me actually go back. Let me go back into that. I'm pretty certain that he could because I think they want you to give anybody. Click here to continue. I don't remember. Maybe. I'm pretty. You can anybody can give you a letter of recommendation.
I mean, his name's still up on the Tillman Hall in the directory, so I don't see why not.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that that's okay. You can do.
I
I
mean, his
don't.
picture's still on their website too, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Uh, but yeah, I'm
no,
I'm almost certain that it's okay.
I just wondered. I'll probably make my decision over probably in the next month or so. But
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, that's for the assistantship, and then
it wouldn't be
um,
until next fall before I'd be able to start classes because I've got a couple of graduate classes I'm in right now that are bleeding over into the spring. So,
mhm.
um, but
Yeah. I mean it. Like, oh, this is what each department requires, and obviously we're down here. We don't really require much besides that GPA.
yeah, the way Finch described it to me, it uh, seemed pretty easy to get,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll turn you down, um,
So
especially if they know you, because it's basically as long as you've met this requirement
I don't
here, it's
even know
pretty
what
much up to.
I don't even know what my GPA is. I think it's like 3.6 or 3.7.
Yeah, you should be okay. I mean, as long as Dr. Thompson knows you, because he's the one that eventually will
Yeah,
make the decision. So I mean, as long as you've been here, I don't. He's not going to tell you no.
my other question is how many tabs do you have open on that browser? So it
30 something.
looks like about 40, yeah.
30 something. This is, we'll just go through them all. SPC, this is my GR form, so that way I check to see if there's an update. Pivotal, current
And
weather conditions.
how much RAM's that computer got? Because it's got to have a lot to be the
Um,
browser's got to be taking up all your RAM.
yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, we're about out max, I'm pretty sure. And so then I've got the WPC always open, and then I've got I forgot what this is called. Oh, the HREF ensemble. so that way I can see in severe weather outbreaks. So this was that day in Iowa a few weeks ago, Ethan, that me and you were talking about. This is where it said the greatest chance of a tornado was.
Yeah.
It was right there. Which I mean, I guess technically it was, but yeah. So then here's this is Juno. Now we get into weather challenge, interpolated data, MOS data, USL, SREF plumes. I've got a
Yeah, you got a lot
meteogram.
of winter time.
Yeah. Let's see, COD, current conditions, emails. Let's see. Oh, honor society, homework.
I got one of those things for Honor Society, the email, and I just didn't. They wanted me to pay some money or something. I didn't.
Yeah, I did, but I'm probably not gonna.
They wanted me to fill it out by like November 1st or something, and I just ended up not responding to it. They wanted me to pay like $50 or something, and I'm like, I don't want to pay money to have my name on a piece of paper.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm already paying enough. I'm already paying the school enough money for them to give me a piece of paper. And
But here's your question here. Non-students may act as associate members, but may not vote or hold office.
gotcha.
Because we
That's
are
okay.
an AMS, so
I don't see us having much outreach in the spring anyway. So.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be difficult.
I was talking to Dr. I think it was Dr. Sutton the other day. He said he thinks that he don't even think they're going to be holding walking ceremonies even in the spring. So I don't know.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, basically, so be ready to, I guess, to announce what you want to run for, because then the following week we can vote. So next week you will tell us what you want to run for, and then we'll put you down on the list, and the following week we will vote. That's how we have to do it according to the bylaws here. Except one meeting prior to the election, so I'm giving you a week's notice to basically tell us if you want to run for office. And then this is pretty much what we do. You can vote by absentee ballot if you want to, or you can just email me, is fine. But that's after, let's see, that would be after, so in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today, you can vote by absentee ballot if you wanted to. Then we can also take nominations the day of. We just have to give that 1 week time frame. And then you're supposed to give a speech, but I'm not sure how this will work. We will basically see how many candidates we have, and then we will come up with a plan for this since we're online. And then what ends up happening is, after everyone's given the speeches, we don't do it this way, really. I guess we do it this way. The candidates sit in the hallway typically, and they vote, and we vote while they're out there.
Do you guys still want to do, like, I don't know, and I don't know if we're actually allowed to officially do anything like this. I mean, Dr. Finch hasn't been in any of the meetings, so I don't know, and I really don't know. I haven't been able to ask her, but are we allowed to have an end of the year party as long as we like disassociate it from their other club? We just all meet in like Diggers or something for like bowling, or are we still allowed to do that? Or even if we don't use club funds, and we just like everybody just throws a little bit of money in and we kind of do our own thing? Or
As we can, but like I said, we cannot use any club funds.
well, that's what I'm saying. I just figured we'd like all throw a little like $10 or something in, get some. You don't even have to be bowling. Just I don't know. I'm just kind of bummed. You know, we don't all get to meet it all this semester, and then the year just kind of ends, and people are graduating, and it's like I don't know. I mean, I know it's probably not the smartest idea with COVID ramping up to get together, but I don't even know if. I think Diggers is still open. I think they said they were staying open, but I don't know. We did something I think last year, and I don't know. Just
we did. We can do that. We would just have to not do it on that Wednesday because we've got 2 weeks basically.
I was thinking
2 weeks of club left, unless we can still go on.
I mean, I was thinking about like December, but I don't know how many members are actually going to be here. I mean, I know probably some of us will be, because I mean we probably have departments and stuff here in Macomb, but I know the school says that after Thanksgiving break, technically everybody's supposed to not come back to the campus. So
Yeah. I don't even know what I'm doing. I might not be here. I might just stay home and work. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet.
I'm probably going to be in Macomb all winter. So
Okay. But yeah, I mean, we can talk about that coming up and see what happens. But yeah, as long as we're not uh, club, the club funds are not being issued. We're not calling it a club gathering. Then I do not have to fill out any paperwork. But if we meet, I have to fill out paperwork and everything else, and then send that into the OSA. So that way, if someone does have COVID, they can go back to and start contact tracing. Or if someone gets COVID. Um, but yeah, so next week we will begin the voting process. Or not begin. We will write your names down to vote the following week. So we will vote on the 18th. 18th will be our election night.
is that going to be our last meeting or what? Or
More than likely, yes, because I don't think we can technically have meetings afterwards. I mean, we could, but they won't officially be club meetings. So we can still meet on Wednesdays if everyone wanted to and just hang out. But they will not be Severe Weather Club meetings officially, because if we can't, from the university, everything's shut down. So we cannot hold those. We cannot hold an actual club meeting then. But yeah, so like I said, every position's open. You don't have to be junior, senior. You can be freshman, sophomore. It doesn't really matter. Everything's open. The only issue right now is with the treasurer. I know I have talked this with Nathan. I can't get him onto the account because the lobbies are closed. So, in order for me to get him into the account, we have to be in the lobby and I have to sign things over. And whoever becomes president, we're going to have to do that eventually, because I have to sign off that I'm no longer in charge of the club. And then they have to sign forms and everything else. But with COVID, I know the lobbies are closed because I just deposited all the cash and stuff on Monday. And all those lobbies are closed. I mean, we might be able to go to the walk-up window and maybe they would help us, but I can't guarantee you that one because it's not the main branch in town for that. So I'm not sure how that goes or how that's going to go. But that's the issue with the treasurer, which that's not an issue at all because we don't really have a lot of funds moving around. Obviously, we didn't collect dues this semester because we're not meeting, we're not buying pizza, we're not spending money, so we didn't need to collect dues like we typically do. That might be the same way next semester unless we can finally meet, but I don't really know. But yeah, so with that, that's all I have. Does anybody else want to add anything? Anything at all?
no, I don't.
Anybody need any help?
I did want to talk to you, Anthony, real quick after the meeting, if we could talk real quick for a second.
Anybody else need any help with anything at all? School work, figuring out classes, jobs, driving skills. I'll give you my best shot online. I don't care. Let's see. I don't care. Anything? No? Well, all right. That will conclude this meeting, and we will see you guys all next week. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.
Stop recording.
Okay.